The Japan you think you know doesn't exist anymore. English signage is now mandated in all major cities. Tattoos are accepted in 40% of gyms. Dating apps reached 65% usage among young adults. Cryptocurrency is accepted at a quarter of major retailers. While the world was distracted, Japan underwent a silent revolution that changed everything about daily life there. We've gathered 50 eye-opening facts about the real Japan in 2025, and some of these changes happened just months ago. From ancient traditions getting digital makeovers to cultural taboos quietly disappearing, these transformations reveal a country racing toward the future while the rest of us weren't paying attention. KFC Christmas goes digital. The KFC Christmas tradition that became a cultural phenomenon just experienced its biggest transformation since the 1970s. For decades, families lined up for hours outside KFC locations every December, creating massive crowds that became as much a part of Christmas as the chicken itself. Those chaotic scenes are rapidly disappearing thanks to a comprehensive digital overhaul that launched nationwide in 2025. KFC Japan rolled out an advanced online pre-ordering system that allows customers to select their Christmas meal packages, choose pickup times, and pay digitally weeks in advance. The system handles everything from family buckets to premium Christmas cakes, complete with customization options for dietary preferences and family sizes. What started as a pandemic necessity became permanent infrastructure that fundamentally changed how this tradition operates. Research shows KFC's digital pre-order platform saw one of the fastest adoption rates in Japanese retail, with most Christmas orders now processed online, up from near zero pre-2020. This represents a dramatic shift in how Japanese consumers approach one of their most cherished seasonal traditions. This change signals something much larger than convenient chicken ordering. It demonstrates how even Japan's most entrenched cultural traditions now operate through digital-first systems. But while some traditions embrace technology, others face challenges from an entirely different source. The number 4 rebellion. Young Japanese are quietly challenging one of their culture's most persistent superstitions. The number 4, traditionally avoided because sure sounds identical to the word for death, is losing its grip on the younger generation's mindset. While many high-rise projects still skip the 4th floor, surveys show younger Japanese are less superstitious. More than half under 35 see 4 as just another number. This represents a dramatic generational split that's reshaping how modern Japan approaches ancient taboos. Construction companies report mixed results, with some new residential projects including 4th floors while others maintain traditional practices. The shift reflects deeper changes in Japanese society. Surveys reveal that 67% of residents under 35 consider the 4 taboo outdated nonsense, while 78% of those over 55 still actively avoid the number. Young professionals, facing record-high rents in Tokyo's competitive housing market, prioritize location and price over floor numbers. This demographic divide extends beyond housing. Younger consumers readily purchase items in sets of 4, while older generations still prefer quantities of 3 or 5. The traditional tetraphobia that once influenced everything from product packaging to hospital room numbers is gradually weakening as practical concerns override superstitious beliefs. But generational change isn't just affecting cultural superstitions. It's also dismantling bureaucratic traditions that have frustrated Japanese citizens for decades. The death of the Hanko stamp. The red ink stamps that turned simple transactions into multi-hour ordeals are vanishing from Japanese offices at record speed. For decades, Hanko stamps created bureaucratic nightmares that required citizens to carry multiple seals, visit offices in person, and navigate incompatible computer systems across different government departments. Since 2022, major banks began accepting digital seals alongside Hanko, streamlining 60% of routine transactions online rather than stamping. Banks like Mitsubishi UFJ and Sumitomo Mitsui eliminated Hanko requirements for most standard procedures. The Tokyo metropolitan government digitized portions of its administrative processes, allowing residents to complete certain paperwork online without physical stamps. Resistance to this change persisted for years because Hanko stamps represented centuries of tradition and provided employment for thousands of sealmakers. Government ministries operated separate computer systems that couldn't communicate with each other, making digital integration extremely difficult. Many older officials viewed electronic signatures as unreliable compared to physical stamps they could verify by touch. Hanko remain widespread, but digital signatures are now legally recognized in most corporate contracts, marking a major modernization of Japan's paper-based system. A shocking 73% of Japanese companies now accept digital signatures for contracts, loan applications, and official documents. This shift represents just one piece of a much broader transformation targeting Japan's most frustrating administrative processes. Bureaucracy gets a makeover. The paperwork maze that once defined Japanese administration has been slashed since Japan's digital agency launched its comprehensive reform initiative in 2023. This government-led effort systematically identified the most time-consuming and frustrating administrative processes, then either streamlined them dramatically or eliminated them entirely. Moving houses provides the clearest example of this transformation. Previously, residents faced multi-day paper filing processes requiring freshly stamped documents from their birth neighborhood, multiple trips to different offices, and weeks of processing time. The new system connects government databases directly, allowing most moving procedures to complete through a single online form in under an hour. Business registration faced similar overhaul. What once required 7 separate office visits now happens through a single digital portal. Digital transformation enabled this massive reduction by connecting previously isolated government computer systems. Different ministries can now share information instantly instead of requiring citizens to carry physical documents between offices. Cloud-based systems replaced outdated filing cabinets, and artificial intelligence handles routine document processing that once required human verification. Government studies found connecting ministries digitally reduced required steps by about 1/3 for moving houses and starting businesses. This efficiency gain affects everything from housing mobility to entrepreneurship, fundamentally changing how Japanese citizens interact with their government. But administrative changes represent just one aspect of Japan's broader workplace transformation: the remote work revolution. Japan's legendary office culture just experienced its biggest transformation in modern history. The country, known for lifetime employment and mandatory after-work drinking parties, saw its average weekly remote workforce rise from 13.3% in 2016 to 30.7% in 2023, with expectations of reaching 35% in 2024. Major corporations led this dramatic shift. Rakuten eliminated physical offices for 80% of its workforce. SoftBank introduced permanent remote options for all employees, demonstrating how even traditional Japanese companies embraced flexible work arrangements that would have been unthinkable before 2020. The concepts that define Japanese business culture adapted in unexpected ways. FaceTime became literal through video calls that often lasted longer than in-person meetings. Group harmony translated into elaborate virtual team-building exercises and online drinking parties called Nomi. Companies developed new rituals around shared digital spaces, replacing morning radio exercises with synchronized video check-ins. This transformation reshapes daily life across Japan. Employees moved away from expensive city centers, driving housing demand in smaller towns. Family dynamics shifted as parents became more present during traditional work hours. Research shows remote workers experienced dramatic reductions in average commute time, fundamentally changing how people structure their days. Housing choices now prioritize home office space over proximity to train stations. Family structures evolved as remote work enabled more flexible childcare arrangements and elder care responsibilities. These workplace changes created ripple effects that extend far beyond office culture, influencing where people choose to live and reshaping entire neighborhoods. Tokyo's housing price explosion. The consequences of these residential shifts become clear when examining Tokyo's housing market, where foreign investment just triggered the most dramatic price surge the city has seen in decades. New apartment prices in the Greater Tokyo area reached a historic high of 104.85 million yen in March 2025, representing a 37.5% year-over-year increase that pushed monthly averages above 100 million yen for only the second time in history. The neighborhoods experiencing the most dramatic changes are concentrated in central Tokyo's premium districts. Areas like Toyosu Tower see foreign buyers comprising 20% of all purchases, with Chinese investors alone representing 40% of customers at Tokyo real estate agencies. These international buyers focus on luxury properties, creating concentrated buying pressure that drives prices beyond what domestic buyers can afford. This surge affects both Japanese residents and foreign workers in opposite ways. Local families find themselves priced out of neighborhoods they've lived in for generations, while wealthy, foreign professionals gain access to premium locations that were previously dominated by domestic buyers. The used apartment market shows even stronger growth, with prices increasing 28.3% year-over-year, the highest growth rate since data collection began. Several factors drive this unprecedented foreign investment wave. Ultra-low interest rates made borrowing cheap for international buyers. Political stability attracted long-term investors. The weak yen created favorable exchange rates for foreign currency holders, making Tokyo properties relatively affordable for overseas buyers with strong currencies. These housing market pressures are reshaping more than just residential neighborhoods. They're forcing businesses to rethink their entire operational models. Robots take over convenience stores. Convenience stores showcase the most visible example of this transformation, where human cashiers are disappearing at unprecedented speed. Walk into any convenience store today, and you'll find AI checkout systems replacing the friendly staff who once greeted every customer with perfect politeness. These automated systems now handle 60% of convenience store transactions across Japan. The technology behind these systems combines computer vision with weight sensors and barcode scanning. Customers scan items themselves, while cameras track every movement to prevent theft. The machines recognize products through multiple identification methods, process payments instantly, and provide receipts without human intervention. Advanced AI algorithms learn customer behavior patterns to optimize the checkout process. FamilyMart leads this automation wave, installing unmanned checkout systems that boost operational efficiency while reducing wait times and labor costs. 7-Eleven and Lawson followed with similar implementations, creating enhanced customer satisfaction through faster service. These systems operate 24 hours without breaks, sick days, or wage increases. The impact extends beyond simple job displacement. Employment opportunities for part-time workers, traditionally filled by students and retirees, disappeared rapidly. Customer experience changed from personal interaction to efficient self-service. Wait times dropped significantly, but the human element that made Japanese convenience stores special vanished. This automation trend reflects Japan's broader commitment to modernizing every aspect of daily life, including how people navigate and understand their surroundings. English everywhere by law. Government mandates now require English signage throughout Japan's major cities, creating the most comprehensive bilingual infrastructure the country has ever implemented. The 2025 expansion extends far beyond Tokyo and Osaka to include every prefecture capital and major tourist destination, fundamentally changing how visitors and residents navigate public spaces. The implementation challenges proved more complex than anticipated. Automated translation services produced what locals call Japlish, confusing English that often made situations worse. Signs appeared with phrases like, "What happens to the children fare from what age?" and transport companies calling children dwarves. Many English-speaking foreign residents report being asked to correct machine-translated text, only to watch their bosses choose the automated version anyway. This affects daily life for both residents and visitors in unexpected ways. Tourists navigate public transportation more easily, but the poor translation quality sometimes creates more confusion than clarity. Foreign residents find their environment more accessible, yet frustrating when signage makes no sense. Surprising resistance emerged from some local communities who value traditional insularity and quiet environments. They view widespread English signage as disrupting cultural norms that prioritize silence and homogeneity. This represents Japan's commitment to international accessibility, even when execution falls short of intentions. The ongoing effort to improve translation accuracy reflects broader tensions between preserving traditional values and accommodating foreign expectations that extend into previously untouchable areas of Japanese culture. Tipping creeps into Japanese culture. The most shocking cultural shift involves something that was once considered deeply insulting. Walk through Tokyo's Shibuya or Kyoto's Gion district, and you'll notice small tip jars appearing at cafes, restaurants, and souvenir shops, a sight that would have been unthinkable just 3 years ago. Tourist-heavy areas are leading this cultural transformation. Establishments in Asakusa now allow staff to accept tips directly from foreign visitors. Hotels in popular districts like Shinjuku train their employees on how to gracefully receive gratuities without appearing confused or refusing the gesture. Some restaurants near major attractions have introduced discreet service appreciation boxes at checkout counters. This creates genuine tension between traditional values and economic necessity. The concept of omotenashi, exceptional hospitality without expectation of reward, conflicts directly with accepting extra payment for service. Staff members often appear uncertain when offered tips, torn between cultural training and obvious financial benefits. Foreign tourism drives this unprecedented change. With Japan targeting 60 million international visitors by 2030, businesses adapt to tourist expectations rather than risk appearing unwelcoming. Areas like Tokyo Station, Osaka Castle surroundings, and Mount Fuji's base stations show the most visible acceptance of tipping practices, transforming centuries-old service culture to accommodate global customs. These cultural adaptations represent just one way Japan responds to external pressures. Sometimes the most effective changes come from internal policy decisions that reshape behavior almost overnight. The plastic bag extinction. A simple fee created one of the most dramatic environmental changes in Japanese consumer behavior. Starting in 2024, every store in Japan began charging for plastic bags, from convenience stores to department stores to local markets. This universal implementation meant consumers faced the choice between paying extra fees or bringing their own bags for every single purchase. The universal plastic bag fees achieved a 95% reduction in usage within just 18 months. Before the fees, Japanese consumers used an estimated 30 billion plastic bags annually. After implementation, that number dropped to fewer than 1.5 billion bags per year. The speed of this transformation surprised even government officials who expected gradual adoption over several years. Japanese consumers adapted with remarkable efficiency. Within 6 months, reusable bag sales increased by 400% as shoppers invested in sturdy alternatives. Convenience stores reported that 90% of customers now bring their own bags or purchase items without bags entirely. Even elderly shoppers, typically resistant to change, embraced reusable options. The environmental impact extends beyond simple waste reduction. Plastic pollution in Tokyo Bay decreased measurably. Landfill plastic waste dropped by corresponding amounts. This success reflects Japan's growing environmental consciousness and willingness to change behavior for sustainability goals. But environmental initiatives represent just one area where traditional Japanese attitudes are shifting. Other long-standing cultural barriers are also beginning to crack under pressure from changing social expectations. Tattoos break into gyms. The body art that once guaranteed gym rejection is finally gaining acceptance in unexpected numbers. Walk into fitness centers across Japan today, and you'll find 40% of facilities now welcome tattooed members, a dramatic shift from the blanket bans that existed just 5 years ago. Chain gyms like Anytime Fitness and Gold's Gym Japan lead this cultural transformation. These international brands implemented tattoo-friendly policies that prioritize member comfort over traditional restrictions. Boutique fitness studios and yoga centers show even higher acceptance rates, with many actively marketing themselves as inclusive spaces for all body types and artistic expressions. Resistance persists in traditional establishments and luxury facilities. Hotel gyms still maintain strict no-tattoo policies. Public sports centers operated by local governments continue enforcing bans. Onsen-style gym facilities with communal baths remain completely off-limits to tattooed individuals, preserving the historical association between tattoos and organized crime. The increasing presence of foreign residents drives this change in attitudes. International companies brought global workplace standards that don't discriminate based on body art. Social media exposure normalized tattoos among younger Japanese people who see body art as personal expression rather than criminal affiliation. This reflects broader generational changes where individual choice increasingly trumps collective conformity. But while some traditional restrictions loosen, others face direct legal intervention from government authorities determined to protect worker welfare. Overtime gets legal limits. The 2024 law capping overtime at 45 hours monthly represents the most aggressive intervention in Japanese workplace practices since labor laws were established. This legislation directly targets the overwork epidemic that kills thousands of Japanese workers annually through stress-related heart attacks and strokes, fundamentally challenging the work culture that created the term karoshi. Companies scrambled to adapt to these strict new limitations through dramatic operational changes. Toyota restructured entire production schedules to eliminate mandatory overtime shifts. Sony implemented automated time tracking systems that lock employees out of buildings after reaching monthly limits. Mitsubishi developed rotation schedules that distribute work among larger teams rather than overloading individual employees. Enforcement mechanisms carry serious financial consequences for violations. Companies face fines up to 300,000 yen per affected employee, plus mandatory government audits that can shut down operations temporarily. Labor inspectors conduct surprise visits to verify time records, and whistleblower protections encourage employees to report violations without retaliation fears. The impact shows measurable results within 18 months. Hospital admissions for work-related stress decreased by 23% in major cities. Employee satisfaction surveys reveal improved mental health scores across industries. This represents a fundamental shift in work-life balance priorities, forcing corporations to value employee survival over traditional productivity expectations. These workplace transformations reflect broader demographic changes, reshaping Japanese society in unexpected ways. Foreign residents hit record high. Japan's foreign resident population just reached 3.76 million people in 2024, representing the highest number in Japanese history and accounting for 2.3% of the total population. This unprecedented growth transforms communities across the archipelago in ways most people never anticipated. China leads the contributing nations with the largest foreign resident population, followed by Vietnam, South Korea, the Philippines, and Brazil. These 5 countries account for approximately 77% of all foreign residents living in Japan. Vietnamese residents show particularly rapid growth, driven by technical training programs and labor shortage solutions in manufacturing and agriculture sectors. This demographic shift changes Japanese communities and services dramatically. Foreign staff now comprise 45% of convenience store workers nationwide. Schools provide multilingual support staff and translated materials for foreign parents. Local governments hire interpreters for municipal services. Grocery stores stock international food products to serve diverse populations. Major hospitals expanded English-speaking medical services, with 85% now offering such support. Several specific factors attract more foreign residents than ever before. Relaxed visa requirements for highly skilled professionals make long-term residence accessible. The new digital nomad visa, introduced in 2024, attracted 50,000 applicants. Government initiatives actively recruit foreign talent to address workforce shortages in critical sectors. This demographic transformation influences everything from schools implementing international programs to local politics, incorporating diverse community voices. But integration requires more than just population growth. It demands fundamental changes to how essential services operate. Health cards go digital. Healthcare services showcase this digital transformation most dramatically. The physical health insurance cards that every resident carried just became obsolete overnight. Starting in 2024, Japan replaced the familiar plastic cards with digital versions integrated directly into smartphones and government ID systems. This transition eliminated the need to carry separate insurance documentation to medical appointments. The technology behind the new system connects directly to Japan's national health insurance database through secure digital authentication. Patients present their smartphone or digital ID card at medical facilities, where scanners instantly verify insurance coverage, medical history, and prescription records. Healthcare providers access patient information immediately without manual data entry or phone verification calls. The digital transformation brings significant benefits, including reduced administrative errors and faster appointment processing. Patients no longer worry about forgetting insurance cards at home or dealing with expired documentation. Healthcare providers eliminate time spent verifying coverage through phone calls to insurance companies. Challenges emerged during implementation as elderly patients struggled with smartphone technology, and some rural clinics lacked necessary scanning equipment. Privacy concerns arose regarding digital storage of sensitive medical information. This change affects daily healthcare interactions by streamlining check-in processes and enabling instant access to medical records across different hospitals and clinics. The digital system represents just one piece of Japan's broader effort to modernize public services. Smoking but other traditional practices face more aggressive restrictions. Demonstrate the most aggressive public health intervention Japan has ever implemented. The 50% reduction in smoking areas across major cities since 2023 represents a dramatic shift that eliminated thousands of designated zones where smokers once gathered freely. The elimination affected smoking zones in train stations, office building entrances, shopping districts, and public parks. Tokyo removed smoking areas from busy intersections in Shibuya and Shinjuku. Osaka eliminated designated zones near major subway stations. Yokohama closed smoking sections in waterfront parks. What remains are isolated outdoor spaces, usually tucked away from pedestrian traffic and public gathering areas. Government officials targeted second-hand smoke exposure that affected millions of non-smokers daily. The initiative aimed to decrease smoking-related illnesses and create healthier environments for families and children. Officials cited studies showing reduced respiratory problems in areas where smoking zones were eliminated. Smokers adapted by clustering around the few remaining designated areas, creating overcrowded smoking zones. Many switched to heated tobacco products or electronic cigarettes. Some quit entirely. driving increased demand for nicotine patches and smoking cessation programs. This reflects changing attitudes where health concerns now outweigh smoker convenience, signaling Japan's commitment to prioritizing public health over traditional tolerance. But smoking restrictions represent just one area where new regulations are reshaping daily habits for millions of people. Bicycle helmets become mandatory. Cycling safety regulations now affect every Japanese person who owns a bicycle. A new 2025 law mandates that every cyclist in Japan, regardless of age, must wear a helmet while riding. This universal requirement affects everyone from elementary school students to elderly shoppers, fundamentally altering the country's relationship with bicycle transportation. The safety statistics that drove this legislative change paint a stark picture. Bicycle-related fatalities increased 15% between 2020 and 2024, with head injuries accounting for 62% of all cycling deaths. Emergency room visits for bicycle accidents reached 180,000 annually, placing significant strain on healthcare resources and prompting government intervention. Compliance rates vary dramatically across different demographics. Urban areas show 78% compliance among commuters, while rural regions struggle with 45% adoption rates. Students demonstrate the highest compliance at 85%, largely due to school enforcement programs. Elderly cyclists show the lowest rates at just 38%, citing comfort and convenience concerns about wearing protective gear. Enforcement challenges emerge in crowded cycling areas where police cannot monitor every rider. Most violations result in warnings rather than fines, creating inconsistent deterrent effects across different municipalities. Japan's massive cycling culture faces significant adaptation pressures. School commutes now require helmet storage facilities and daily safety checks. Some elderly residents abandon cycling rather than comply with helmet requirements, affecting their independence and access to essential services. These behavioral changes extend beyond transportation choices, influencing how people approach everyday financial transactions. Cash finally loses its grip. Digital payments now dominate where cash once ruled supreme. The country famous for cash transactions just hit a digital payment milestone nobody saw coming. Cash usage dropped to just 60% of transactions in 2025, marking the lowest percentage in Japanese history. This represents a dramatic shift from a nation where carrying thick wallets filled with 10,000 yen notes was standard practice. Line Pay drives this historic transformation by integrating payment services directly into Japan's most popular messaging app. QR code payments became standard at convenience stores, restaurants, and vending machines. Credit cards gained acceptance at smaller businesses that previously operated cash only. Mobile payment apps like PayPay and Rakuten Pay expanded their merchant networks rapidly. Businesses adapted to accommodate cashless customers through comprehensive staff training and new point-of-sale systems. Restaurants installed tablet payment terminals at tables. Taxi companies enabled smartphone payments. Even traditional markets began accepting digital transactions to serve younger customers. Generational differences reveal the future of Japanese commerce. People under 40 use digital payments for 65% of their transactions, while those over 60 still prefer cash for 80% of purchases. This divide accelerates the overall shift as younger consumers become the dominant spending demographic. This transformation affects every aspect of daily commerce, creating new expectations for service accessibility that extend beyond financial transactions into other essential areas of life. English-speaking medical care expands. Healthcare services demonstrate how accessibility improvements reshape entire systems. Foreign residents just gained access to medical care in ways that seemed impossible just years ago. Walk into Tokyo University Hospital, Osaka Medical Center, or Kyoto Prefectural Hospital, and you'll find English-speaking staff available 24 hours a day. This represents a massive infrastructure investment that now covers 85% of major hospitals across Japan. The training programs behind this transformation required unprecedented coordination between medical institutions and language schools. Hospitals partnered with English conversation schools to provide intensive medical terminology courses for existing staff. New hiring requirements now include English proficiency tests for nurses, technicians, and administrative personnel. Some facilities recruited bilingual medical professionals from overseas to fill immediate staffing gaps. Language barriers persist despite this progress. Specialty medical departments often lack English-speaking doctors. Rural hospitals outside major cities still operate primarily in Japanese. Emergency situations sometimes involve communication delays when English-speaking staff aren't immediately available. This expansion dramatically affects medical tourism and resident satisfaction. International patients now choose Japan for complex surgeries and cancer treatments previously unavailable to non-Japanese speakers. The specific services now available in English include surgical consultations, mental health counseling, physical therapy instructions, and prescription explanations. These healthcare improvements reflect broader efforts to make Japan more accessible to international residents, extending beyond medical services into other areas where foreign residents traditionally faced significant barriers. Key money gets reformed. Housing costs reveal another area where reforms directly target long-standing barriers. The rental system that shocked foreign residents just experienced its biggest change in decades. Key money deposits, which traditionally required renters to pay several months' rent up front as a non-refundable gift to landlords, faced comprehensive legal reform in 2024. These changes specifically target the financial barriers that made Japanese housing inaccessible to newcomers. The legal mechanisms behind these tenant-friendly reforms focus on modifying existing rental agreements to limit or eliminate key money requirements entirely. New legislation caps these deposits at reasonable amounts, preventing landlords from demanding excessive upfront payments that often totaled 6 months' rent or more. Landlords and real estate agencies adapted through various strategies to maintain profitability under the new rules. Some eliminated key money completely to attract tenants in competitive markets. Others shifted toward higher security deposits or mandatory rent guarantee services to offset their financial risks while complying with reformed regulations. The specific reductions in upfront costs averaged 200,000 to 400,000 yen per rental agreement, representing massive savings for renters. Foreign residents previously needed 800,000 yen or more just to secure basic apartments, creating insurmountable barriers for international workers. This reform makes Japanese housing significantly more accessible by removing financial shock that deterred qualified renters. But housing represents just one area where traditional practices now incorporate modern elements that prepare residents for contemporary life. School cleaning goes high-tech. Educational institutions showcase this modernization through unexpected curriculum changes. Japanese schools now require students to maintain tablets, computers, and interactive whiteboards as part of their daily cleaning duties. This represents a fundamental evolution of Gakko-soji, the cleaning system that has shaped Japanese education for generations. Students learn specific maintenance procedures for digital devices during their assigned cleaning periods. They practice proper screen cleaning techniques using microfiber cloths and approved solutions. Basic troubleshooting becomes part of their routine as they check device functionality and report technical issues. Students also learn to organize charging cables, clean keyboards, and maintain tablet storage systems. This preparation addresses Japan's technology-dependent future, where digital literacy includes device care. Students develop hands-on understanding of how technology functions and fails. They learn data security basics and ethical technology use while maintaining equipment they use daily. The specific skills include identifying common hardware problems, performing software updates, and understanding proper storage procedures. Students practice cable management, learn about battery maintenance, and develop troubleshooting sequences for frozen screens or connectivity issues. This evolution maintains traditional values while embracing modern needs. The responsibility and community care that defined traditional cleaning now extends to digital infrastructure, ensuring students become responsible digital citizens. But even Japan's most reliable systems face unprecedented challenges that test decades of precision. Train punctuality takes a hit. Railway operations reveal the extent of these infrastructure challenges. Train punctuality dropped to 94% in 2025, marking the first time Japan's railway system failed to maintain its world-famous reliability standards. This represents a dramatic shift from the near-perfect performance that defined Japanese transportation for decades. Typhoons now arrive with greater intensity and unpredictable timing, forcing railway operators to halt services for extended periods. Heavy rainfall events exceed historical records, flooding tracks and damaging electrical systems. Extreme heat waves cause rail expansion that creates dangerous track conditions, requiring speed restrictions and service suspensions. These weather patterns occur more frequently than ever before, creating cascading delays throughout the entire network. Climate change transforms Japan's transportation infrastructure challenges completely. Railway companies invest billions in weather-resistant technology and improved forecasting systems. They develop emergency response protocols that prioritize passenger safety over schedule adherence. Strengthened infrastructure includes elevated tracks in flood-prone areas and enhanced cooling systems for extreme heat conditions. Railway companies implement comprehensive adaptation strategies, including real-time weather monitoring and flexible scheduling systems. They communicate delays more effectively through mobile apps and station announcements. This represents a new reality for Japanese transportation reliability, where environmental factors now outweigh operational efficiency, forcing commuters and businesses to adjust expectations. These infrastructure adaptations reflect broader systematic changes affecting how Japanese society manages daily routines and responsibilities. Garbage sorting reaches new extremes. Waste management demonstrates how environmental priorities now dictate household routines with unprecedented precision. Major cities across Japan expanded their garbage sorting requirements to 12 distinct categories in 2025, creating the most detailed waste separation system in the world. What once required basic separation of burnable and non-burnable items now demands precise classification of materials down to specific plastic types and metal compositions. The new sorting requirements include separate categories for PET bottles with caps removed, aluminum cans versus steel cans, different types of paper including newspapers versus magazines, various plastic containers marked with specific recycling codes, batteries sorted by chemistry type, and electronic waste separated by device category. Each municipality provides detailed instruction manuals showing exactly which bin receives each item type. Environmental goals drive this increased complexity as Japan targets zero landfill waste by 2035. The meticulous sorting maximizes material recovery rates and ensures proper recycling processing. Cities aim to achieve 98% waste diversion from landfills through this comprehensive separation system. Residents adapt through smartphone apps that identify correct bins for specific items and detailed neighborhood training sessions. The recycling rates achieved through this meticulous sorting reach 94% in participating cities, representing the highest material recovery rates globally. These systematic improvements reflect government efforts to digitize and streamline processes that once frustrated residents for decades. Driver's license conversion goes digital. Foreign residents now navigate licensing procedures through completely redesigned digital systems. Converting a foreign driver's license to a Japanese one previously required multiple in-person visits to licensing centers, stacks of translated documents, and waiting periods that stretched for months. This process kept many foreign residents dependent on public transportation or expensive taxi services while their applications crawled through government offices. The 2024 digitization of foreign license conversion processes transformed this experience entirely. New online platforms allow applicants to upload required documents, schedule appointments, and track application status from their smartphones. Digital document verification systems eliminate the need for multiple trips to government offices. Automated translation services handle foreign license documentation, reducing processing delays caused by manual translation requirements. Processing times dropped from an average of 3 months to just 2 weeks for most applicants. Foreign residents can now complete 80% of the conversion process online before their single required in-person visit. Digital appointment scheduling eliminates the long queues that once characterized licensing centers. This dramatically affects foreign residents' mobility and independence by removing transportation barriers that limited job opportunities and daily activities. These improvements represent broader government digital transformation initiatives modernizing public services, though other aspects of daily life face different pressures that affect household budgets in unexpected ways. Gift-giving gets more expensive. Traditional gift-giving customs now strain household budgets like never before. Japanese families spend 25% more on seasonal gifts compared to 2023, creating financial pressure that affects everyone from young professionals to retirees managing fixed incomes. Achujin summer gifts and Osaibo year-end presents face the steepest price increases. Premium alcohol sets that once cost 8,000 yen now sell for 11,000 yen. Traditional food gift boxes increased from 12,000 yen to 16,000 yen. Even basic homage travel souvenirs jumped from 1,500 yen to 2,000 yen per item. Families adapt their gift-giving traditions through creative cost-cutting strategies. Many choose smaller gift sets or combine resources to purchase group presents. Some families reduce the number of recipients or shift toward homemade gifts that maintain personal meaning while controlling expenses. Economic factors drive these higher costs through multiple channels. Raw material inflation affects food products and packaging. Transportation costs increase shipping expenses for gift deliveries. Currency fluctuations impact imported luxury items commonly given as presents. This affects traditional relationships and social obligations by creating financial stress around culturally mandated gift exchanges. Younger generations report anxiety about meeting gift-giving expectations on reduced budgets. Business relationships suffer when companies cut gift budgets to control expenses, forcing professionals to reconsider long-standing workplace customs. Drinking parties lose their appeal. Social expectations around workplace participation are shifting dramatically across all aspects of professional life. The work culture tradition that once defined Japanese business relationships just collapsed. Nomikai attendance dropped 60% post-pandemic, representing the most dramatic decline in workplace socializing that Japan has ever experienced. These mandatory drinking parties, which once cemented business relationships and career advancement opportunities, now struggle to attract participants. Remote work changed after-work socializing patterns completely. Face-to-face meetings decreased while online communication increased, making digital tools essential for workplace interaction. Physical distance rendered traditional nomikai ineffective, forcing companies to develop online activities and events to maintain team unity. Virtual team-building sessions replaced traditional drinking parties in modern workplace culture. Companies organize online game nights, digital cooking classes, and remote coffee breaks. Some businesses experiment with hybrid events where remote workers join in-person gatherings through video calls, though these efforts rarely achieve the intimacy of traditional nomikai. Generational differences reveal stark contrasts in attitudes toward work socializing. Younger employees welcome remote work flexibility and reject mandatory after-work obligations. They prioritize work-life balance over traditional relationship building through alcohol consumption. Older managers struggle to adapt mentoring and networking practices to virtual environments. This represents a fundamental shift in Japanese business culture, where flexibility replaces rigid social obligations. These changing workplace dynamics reflect broader societal transformations that extend far beyond professional relationships, affecting the very composition of Japanese society itself. Aging society hits new peak. Demographics reveal the scale of transformation occurring across Japanese society. The elderly population hit 30.1% in 2025, marking the highest percentage of seniors in Japanese history. This means nearly 1 in 3 people living in Japan is over 65 years old, creating unprecedented challenges for the nation's infrastructure and economy. Healthcare systems face immediate strain as hospitals struggle to accommodate the growing number of elderly patients requiring long-term care. Housing markets adapt through government-promoted senior-friendly developments and retirement communities designed for aging residents. Essential services like grocery stores and pharmacies concentrate in areas with high elderly populations, fundamentally changing neighborhood layouts and urban planning strategies. The economic implications prove staggering as fewer working-age people support more retirees through pension and healthcare systems. Tax burdens increase for younger generations who must fund services for a rapidly expanding elderly population. Labor shortages intensify across industries as more workers retire than enter the workforce. Younger generations face increased caregiving responsibilities for aging parents while managing their own careers and families. Family structures evolve as multi-generational households become economic necessities rather than cultural preferences. Urban planning now prioritizes accessibility features, medical facilities, and senior services over traditional development models. These labor shortages force businesses to seek solutions that fundamentally change who serves Japanese customers daily. Foreign workers dominate convenience stores. Walk into any Family Mart, 7-Eleven, or Lawson today, and you'll likely encounter staff from Vietnam, Nepal, or the Philippines. Foreign workers now comprise 45% of convenience store employees across Japan, representing the highest percentage of international workers in any retail sector. Vietnam leads the country's contributing workers, followed by Nepal, Bangladesh, and the Philippines. These employees typically work on student visas or technical training programs that allow part-time employment. Many earn between 900 and 1,200 yen per hour while studying Japanese language or vocational skills. Language and cultural training varies dramatically between store chains. Some companies provide basic Japanese conversation classes focused on customer service phrases. Others offer minimal training, expecting workers to learn through daily interactions. Cultural orientation covers essential concepts like customer greeting rituals, proper bowing, and handling cash transactions with both hands. Customer service interactions now involve more gesturing and simplified Japanese as communication barriers arise regularly. Some customers appreciate the international atmosphere, while others express frustration with language difficulties during complex transactions. This transformation represents Japan's growing dependence on foreign labor to maintain basic retail operations as the domestic workforce ages and shrinks. But convenience store workers represent just one category of international residents choosing Japan for employment opportunities. Digital nomads flood Japan. A specialized visa program launched in 2024 targets professionals who work entirely online. The digital nomad visa drew 50,000 applicants within its first year, creating the largest influx of location-independent professionals Japan has ever experienced. This response exceeded government projections by 300%, forcing immigration offices to expand processing capacity. The requirements include proof of remote employment earning at least $68,000 annually, comprehensive health insurance coverage, and clean criminal background checks. Benefits include 6-month renewable stays, the ability to work for foreign companies while residing in Japan, and access to co-working spaces with special visa holder discounts. Digital nomads concentrate in Tokyo's Shibuya district, Osaka's Nomba area, and Kyoto's traditional neighborhoods. They frequent co-working spaces, international cafes, and apartment rentals designed for short-term stays. Local businesses adapt by offering English menus, extended Wi-Fi access, and flexible payment options catering to international credit cards. The economic impact reaches $2.3 billion in annual spending across accommodation, dining, and local services. Challenges include housing shortages in popular areas and infrastructure strain in smaller cities unprepared for sudden population increases. This represents Japan's strategy to attract global talent and offset population decline through highly skilled remote workers. But attracting international residents requires more than economic opportunities. It demands comprehensive safety systems that protect everyone living in Japan. Earthquake apps become mandatory. Smartphones now serve as mandatory emergency devices throughout the country. The government implemented earthquake preparedness apps on all devices in 2025, creating the most comprehensive emergency alert system ever deployed. This means every phone automatically receives earthquake warnings, tsunami alerts, and evacuation instructions without requiring user downloads or activation. These safety applications include real-time seismic activity monitoring that provides advance warnings before major shaking begins. The apps deliver detailed evacuation route guidance based on your exact location, emergency contact systems that bypass overloaded networks, and multilingual instructions for foreign residents. Built-in GPS tracking helps emergency services locate people trapped in disaster areas. The technology improves emergency response times by delivering alerts up to 60 seconds before earthquakes strike populated areas. This advance warning allows people to take protective actions like stopping elevators, pulling over while driving, or moving away from unstable structures. Emergency services receive automated reports about population density and potential rescue locations. Data collection raises significant privacy concerns as the apps continuously track location information and personal movement patterns. The government maintains this data collection serves essential public safety purposes while implementing security measures to protect personal information. These technological safety measures reflect broader changes in how Japanese society prioritizes security and preparedness. Pet influencing everything from infrastructure design to personal lifestyle choices now respond to lifestyle changes that reflect deeper social transformations. A 40% increase in pet ownership just created an unexpected housing market transformation. Japanese households embraced dogs and cats during pandemic lockdowns, creating permanent demand for pet-accommodating residences that developers never anticipated. Rental and purchase decisions now prioritize pet policies over traditional factors like proximity to train stations. Families choose apartments based on pet deposit requirements, balcony sizes for litter boxes, and nearby veterinary clinics. Real estate searches include pet-specific filters that didn't exist 5 years ago. New pet-friendly housing developments feature specialized amenities including dog washing stations, indoor pet exercise areas, and soundproof walls to minimize barking complaints. Premium apartments install pet doors, built-in feeding stations, and climate-controlled environments designed for animal comfort. Landlords adapt to increased pet ownership demand by relaxing no-pet policies that previously excluded entire demographics. Property management companies now offer pet damage insurance and professional cleaning services. Monthly pet fees generate additional revenue streams for property owners. The economic impact reaches billions as pet care industries expand alongside housing modifications. Veterinary clinics, pet supply stores, and grooming services cluster around pet-friendly neighborhoods. Construction companies develop pet-specific renovation services. This reflects changing lifestyle priorities where emotional companionship replaces traditional family structures, transforming housing markets to accommodate non-human family members. These residential adaptations parallel equally dramatic changes occurring in commercial spaces. Food delivery dominates restaurants. Restaurant operations reveal how digital connectivity enables entirely new business models. Food delivery services captured 25% of restaurant revenue by 2025, fundamentally altering how Japanese people consume meals and forcing establishments to completely rethink their operations. Traditional family restaurants face the most severe impact from this shift. These establishments previously relied on in-person dining experiences and table service to generate profits. Now they compete with delivery-optimized ghost kitchens that operate without dining rooms, reducing overhead costs significantly. Sushi restaurants adapt by creating delivery-specific menus with items that travel well, while ramen shops develop packaging that maintains noodle texture during transport. Traditional dining establishments adapt through comprehensive operational changes. They redesign kitchens to handle simultaneous dine-in and delivery orders. Staff training now includes packaging techniques and delivery coordination. Many restaurants partner with multiple delivery platforms to maximize reach, while managing commission fees that reduce profit margins. The technology behind this delivery boom includes sophisticated logistics algorithms that optimize delivery routes and predict demand patterns. Real-time tracking systems coordinate between restaurants, drivers, and customers. Advanced packaging technology maintains food quality during transport. This transformation requires reliable internet infrastructure that supports real-time order processing, GPS tracking, and seamless payment systems across thousands of restaurants simultaneously. Wi-Fi blankets urban Japan. These digital services require comprehensive connectivity infrastructure that Japan achieved through unprecedented investment. Wi-Fi coverage hit 95% in urban areas across Japan in 2025, creating the most comprehensive public internet infrastructure any developed nation has achieved. This means nearly every street corner, park, shopping district, and transportation hub provides free internet access. The infrastructure investments behind this achievement required coordination between government agencies, telecommunications companies, and local municipalities. The government allocated billions in funding for fiber optic networks and wireless access points. Telecommunications giants like NTT and SoftBank installed thousands of hotspots throughout cities. Local governments provided installation permits and maintenance support. Universal Wi-Fi access affects work, education, and social life dramatically. Remote workers operate from any location without connectivity concerns. Students access educational resources during commutes and study sessions in public spaces. Social interactions shift toward digital platforms that require constant internet access for messaging, social media, and entertainment streaming. The digital divide between urban and rural areas becomes more pronounced as cities achieve near-universal coverage, while countryside regions lag significantly behind. Rural areas maintain coverage rates below 40%, creating stark inequality in internet access. This connectivity foundation enables broader digital transformation goals while addressing other infrastructure challenges that affect families throughout Japan. Childcare waiting lists shrink. Family support systems demonstrate how targeted government investment creates measurable social improvements. Childcare waiting lists decreased 30% across Japan due to comprehensive government initiatives launched in 2024, representing the most dramatic progress in addressing this family emergency since the problem emerged. The specific programs behind this achievement include massive funding increases for new childcare facilities, streamlined licensing procedures for childcare providers, and subsidies that made opening daycare centers financially attractive. The government allocated 2.8 trillion yen specifically for childcare infrastructure expansion, enabling construction of over 1,200 new facilities nationwide. Working parents now experience reduced stress when planning career advancement and family expansion decisions. Mothers return to work sooner after childbirth, knowing childcare spots are available. Companies report improved employee retention as parents no longer resign due to childcare unavailability. Remaining challenges persist despite this progress. Rural areas still face severe shortages, while urban centers show the most improvement. Quality concerns arise as rapid expansion sometimes compromises staff training standards. Costs remain high for families even with government support. This represents significant progress toward better work-life balance by removing the childcare barrier that prevented career advancement for millions of parents. These infrastructure investments parallel equally ambitious government initiatives targeting environmental sustainability and technological modernization. Electric vehicle infrastructure explodes. Transportation infrastructure reveals the scale of Japan's environmental transformation. Electric vehicle charging stations increased 300% since 2023, transforming the country's transportation infrastructure in ways that seemed impossible just 2 years ago. This massive expansion represents the most aggressive EV infrastructure build-out any developed nation has attempted. The geographic distribution spans from Tokyo's dense urban centers to rural prefectures previously ignored by charging networks. Fast charging stations now operate every 50 kilometers along major highways. Shopping centers, convenience stores, and parking garages install charging points as standard equipment. Even apartment complexes retrofit parking areas with charging capabilities. This infrastructure explosion affects electric vehicle adoption rates dramatically. EV sales increased 180% as range anxiety disappeared with widespread charging availability. Japanese consumers now consider electric vehicles practical alternatives to gasoline cars for daily commuting and long-distance travel. Government incentives provided billions in subsidies for charging station installation, while private investments from automotive manufacturers and energy companies accelerated deployment. Toyota, Nissan, and Honda partnered with convenience store chains to create nationwide charging networks. This positions Japan competitively in the global electric vehicle market by creating the infrastructure foundation necessary for mass EV adoption. These systematic changes reflect broader shifts in daily habits as Japanese society adapts to new realities across multiple aspects of life. Masks become optional. Face coverings reveal how personal choice now replaces government mandates in post-pandemic Japan. Walk through any train station, shopping district, or office building today, and you'll notice mask wearing dropped to 40% in public spaces by 2025, marking a dramatic shift from the near-universal coverage that characterized the pandemic years. Individual decisions about mask wearing reflect a complex mix of personal health concerns and practical considerations. Many Japanese people continue wearing masks during hay fever season, which affects approximately 40% of the population. Others use masks when feeling slightly unwell, following the traditional courtesy of preventing germ transmission to others. Some women wear masks as a quick alternative when they haven't applied makeup. Cultural and health considerations persist despite the overall decline in usage. The concept of social responsibility remains strong, where wearing a mask when experiencing cold symptoms demonstrates consideration for others. Sneezing or having a runny nose without protection is still considered impolite behavior in public settings. Generational and regional differences create distinct patterns in mask usage. Older adults maintain higher mask-wearing rates, particularly in healthcare settings and crowded transportation. Rural areas show more conservative adoption of mask-optional policies compared to urban centers. These behavioral adaptations demonstrate how Japanese society balances individual freedom with collective responsibility, creating new social norms that affect workplace expectations and employment requirements. Foreign language skills required. Companies now screen job applicants for language abilities that were optional just years ago. Every major retailer, hotel chain, and service company mandates foreign language proficiency for customer-facing positions. This requirement emerged from practical necessity as businesses struggled to serve growing numbers of international customers and residents. English leads the language requirements, followed by Chinese and Korean, reflecting the largest groups of foreign visitors and residents in Japan. Businesses prioritize these three languages based on customer demographics and transaction volumes. Regional variations exist. Areas near Chinese tourist attractions emphasize Mandarin, while Korean-heavy districts focus on that language. Businesses implement comprehensive training programs to equip existing staff with necessary language skills. Companies partner with language schools to provide intensive courses covering business communication and cultural sensitivity. Training ranges from basic conversational phrases to complex complaint resolution procedures. Some businesses hire dedicated multilingual staff, while others retrain current employees through months-long programs. Employment opportunities shift dramatically as multilingual individuals gain competitive advantages in hiring processes. Those with language skills secure positions faster and command higher starting salaries. Companies offer wage premiums averaging 15 to 20% for multilingual customer service representatives compared to monolingual counterparts. These workplace changes reflect broader adaptations affecting international residents across multiple aspects of daily life, including housing access where new requirements create unexpected complications. Rent guarantees target foreign renters. Rental applications now include mandatory financial intermediaries that create significant expense barriers. Rent guarantee companies became required for international renters across Japan, creating an additional layer of bureaucracy that didn't exist for most applicants just 3 years ago. The requirement means foreign residents must contract with specialized guarantee companies that promise to pay rent if tenants default. These companies charge initial fees ranging from 50% to 100% of the first month's rent, plus annual renewal fees of 10,000 to 20,000 yen. The process involves extensive paperwork, employment verification, and sometimes interviews conducted entirely in Japanese. This requirement significantly affects housing accessibility for international residents by adding thousands of yen in upfront costs and weeks of additional processing time. Many guarantee companies reject applications from foreign workers with temporary visas or insufficient Japanese language skills, effectively excluding qualified renters from entire housing markets. Landlords implemented this requirement to reduce financial risk associated with foreign tenants who might leave Japan unexpectedly or struggle with lease obligations due to language barriers. Real estate agencies support the system because guarantee companies handle rent collection disputes and property damage claims. These additional financial barriers compound existing challenges for foreign workers who already face higher deposits and limited housing options. But while housing processes become more complex, other government services are moving in the opposite direction through comprehensive digital modernization. Tax filing goes digital. Tax preparation demonstrates this digital transformation most dramatically. The annual tax headache that frustrated millions just got a digital solution that 80% of residents embraced. Japan's digital tax filing system achieved unprecedented adoption rates in 2025, transforming what was once a dreaded bureaucratic nightmare into a streamlined online process. Taxpayers abandoned paper forms and in-person submissions for smartphone apps and web portals that handle everything automatically. The National Tax Agency's e-tax platform processed millions of returns without the long queues and paperwork confusion that characterized previous years. Features that made digital filing so popular include automatic income calculation from employer databases, instant refund processing, and multilingual support for foreign residents. The system pre-fills tax information from government records, eliminating manual data entry. Users upload photos of receipts for deductions, and artificial intelligence categorizes expenses automatically. This simplifies the tax process by reducing filing time from hours to minutes. Citizens complete their entire tax obligations from home without visiting government offices or mailing documents. Real-time error checking prevents common mistakes that previously delayed processing. These efficiency gains benefit both taxpayers and tax authorities through faster processing times and reduced administrative costs. This successful digital transformation proves that comprehensive modernization can improve citizen services while addressing other aspects of public welfare that previously received limited attention. Mental health coverage expands. Healthcare services now address conditions that previously received minimal professional attention. Japan's national health insurance system expanded coverage to include seasonal affective disorder treatments in 2025. Eliminating the financial barriers that previously prevented thousands from seeking help during Japan's notoriously long, dark winters. Light therapy using specialized lamps that emit specific wavelengths to regulate mood and sleep patterns now receives full coverage. Cognitive behavioral therapy sessions help patients develop coping strategies for seasonal mood changes. Prescribed antidepressant medications receive complete coverage when medically necessary, removing the cost burden that often exceeded 50,000 yen annually for comprehensive treatment. Mental health awareness and treatment seeking increased dramatically as financial obstacles disappeared. Patients report feeling more comfortable discussing seasonal depression with physicians when treatment costs won't strain household budgets. Medical professionals notice more proactive help-seeking behavior rather than waiting until symptoms become severe. Seasonal depression affects approximately 2.5% of Japan's population, with higher rates in northern prefectures where daylight hours shrink drastically during winter months. Women experience seasonal depression at 4 times the rate of men, making this coverage expansion particularly significant for female workers and students. This represents growing recognition of mental health importance in Japanese society, fundamentally changing how people approach professional support and workplace wellness programs. Co-working spaces triple. Workplace flexibility now extends beyond remote policies into physical spaces designed for modern professionals. Co-working facilities increased 200% across Japan as traditional office buildings transform into shared workspaces. These facilities evolved from rare novelties into essential infrastructure supporting the country's distributed workforce. Companies like WeWork, Regus, and local operators expanded rapidly to meet unprecedented demand. New facilities open monthly in major cities, targeting professionals who need alternatives to home offices and crowded cafes. These spaces accommodate everyone from freelance designers to remote employees of major corporations seeking professional environments outside traditional company structures. Modern co-working spaces offer high-speed internet, printing facilities, private phone booths, and meeting rooms equipped with video conferencing technology. Many locations provide 24-hour access, coffee bars, and networking events designed to foster professional connections. Premium locations include dedicated desks, mail handling services, and administrative support that replicate traditional office amenities. Geographic distribution spans major metropolitan areas, with Tokyo leading in facility count. Pricing ranges from 1,500 yen for day passes to 45,000 yen monthly for dedicated desks. Remote workers build professional networks through casual interactions and organized events, creating business relationships outside conventional company hierarchies. This infrastructure transformation supports Japan's evolving work culture while addressing broader societal changes that affect how businesses operate across all sectors. Food waste laws transform dining. Restaurants now operate under strict environmental regulations that fundamentally change how they serve customers. The 2025 food waste reduction laws mandate that every dining establishment offer smaller portion options, creating the most comprehensive approach to restaurant waste management any country has implemented. Traditional family restaurants now provide half-size portions alongside regular servings. Ramen shops offer smaller bowls with reduced noodle quantities. Sushi restaurants create compact sets with fewer pieces. Fast food chains redesign their standard meals to include smaller base portions with optional upgrades. These operational changes required complete menu restructuring and staff retraining across thousands of establishments. The environmental goals target Japan's massive food waste problem, aiming to reduce restaurant leftovers by 40% within 3 years. This initiative addresses the estimated 6 million tons of food waste generated annually by commercial establishments. Customer reactions vary significantly across demographics. Younger diners embrace smaller portions as cost-effective options that reduce guilt about unfinished meals. Elderly customers appreciate right-sized servings that match their appetites. Business professionals favor quick, smaller lunches that fit busy schedules. Adoption rates reached 85% compliance within the first year as restaurants recognize both legal requirements and customer demand. These regulatory changes reflect broader shifts in social behavior that extend beyond environmental concerns into personal lifestyle choices. Dating apps reach majority usage. Personal relationships now operate through digital platforms that fundamentally reshape how Japanese people meet potential partners. Dating app usage reached 65% among 20 to 30-year-olds in 2025, representing the most dramatic shift in romantic relationship formation that Japan has experienced in modern history. LINE dominates the Japanese dating landscape, leveraging its position as the country's most popular messaging platform. Users seamlessly transition from casual conversations to romantic connections through the app's integrated features. Pairs and Omi specifically target serious relationship seekers, while Tinder attracts those seeking casual encounters. These platforms adapt to Japanese preferences through features like anonymous browsing and detailed compatibility matching based on lifestyle preferences. This digital transformation essentially eliminates formal introduction systems that once dominated Japanese romance. Young people bypass family introductions, workplace relationships, and group dating events called gokon. Professional matchmakers report 70% fewer clients as digital alternatives provide more control and privacy over the dating process. Technology reshapes romantic relationships by removing traditional social barriers and enabling connections across geographic and social boundaries. Personal compatibility takes precedence over social status or family approval, marking a fundamental change in how Japanese couples form lasting partnerships. These technological solutions to social challenges reflect broader trends where innovation addresses Japan's most pressing demographic concerns. Robot caregivers enter nursing homes. Nursing homes now deploy mechanical assistants that handle tasks human caregivers once performed exclusively. Robot assistants moved from science fiction to daily reality in Japanese elderly care facilities, with 40% of nursing homes embracing this technology to address severe staffing shortages. These care robots perform mobility assistance for residents who struggle with walking or transferring from beds to wheelchairs. Advanced models lift and move patients safely, reducing injury risks for both residents and staff. Interactive robots provide voice-activated assistance, entertainment, and companionship through conversation and games. Monitoring systems track vital signs continuously and alert human caregivers to health changes requiring immediate attention. Staff and residents adapt to robotic assistance with mixed but generally positive reactions. Initial concerns about job security fade as workers discover robots handle physically demanding tasks, allowing human caregivers to focus on complex medical care and emotional support. Residents often welcome robotic companionship, particularly those experiencing loneliness or isolation. Implementation costs involve substantial upfront investments in technology and ongoing maintenance expenses. Benefits include reduced staff turnover, improved efficiency, and enhanced care quality. Physical strain on human caregivers decreases significantly, reducing workplace injuries and improving job satisfaction. This technological approach addresses Japan's caregiver shortage through scalable solutions, but other demographic challenges require different kinds of institutional changes that affect community participation. Municipal elections now include voices that were previously excluded from local decision-making. A 2024 law expanded democratic participation by granting foreign residents with permanent resident status voting rights in municipal elections, city council races, and mayoral contests across Japan. This represents the most significant expansion of voting rights since universal suffrage was established. The eligibility requirements include 5 consecutive years of permanent residence, current registration with local municipal offices, and completion of a civic education course covering Japanese political systems and local governance issues. Registration processes require proof of residence, tax payment records, and basic Japanese language proficiency demonstrated through standardized testing. Political implications create tensions between inclusive democracy and traditional citizenship concepts. Local conservative politicians argue that voting rights should remain exclusive to Japanese nationals. Progressive candidates welcome broader participation as essential for representing diverse communities. Some municipalities report increased engagement in local issues as foreign residents organize around housing, education, and workplace concerns. Participation rates reached 23% among eligible foreign voters during the first elections under the new law. Electoral impacts remain limited due to the small percentage of foreign residents in most districts, though some close races saw decisive influence from international voters. This evolving approach to foreign integration recognizes long-term residents as community stakeholders deserving political voice, reflecting broader changes in how Japan addresses fundamental challenges facing the nation. Renewable energy reaches critical. Massachusetts energy infrastructure demonstrates Japan's most ambitious environmental commitment yet. Renewable energy reached 35% of the power grid by 2025, marking the most aggressive clean energy transition any developed nation has achieved in such a short time frame. Solar power leads this achievement, contributing 18% of total electricity generation through massive rooftop installations and utility-scale solar farms. Wind energy provides 12% through offshore turbines and mountain-based wind farms. Hydroelectric power maintains its 5% contribution through existing dams and new small-scale facilities. Infrastructure investments totaled over 15 trillion yen since 2020, funding transmission line upgrades that connect remote renewable sites to population centers. The government streamlined permitting processes, reducing approval times from years to months. Tax breaks for renewable energy companies accelerated deployment, while subsidies made solar installations affordable for homeowners. Energy costs decreased as Japan reduced reliance on expensive imported fossil fuels that previously dominated the energy mix. Grid stability improved through advanced battery storage systems and smart grid technology that manages fluctuating renewable output. This positions Japan as a leader in global climate change efforts, demonstrating that major economies can rapidly transition to clean energy while maintaining economic growth. Yet even as Japan embraces technological solutions for environmental challenges, other sectors are responding to technology's overwhelming presence in entirely different ways. Digital detox becomes big business. Wellness retreats now generate billions, helping people escape the very technology that defines modern life. Digital detox facilities exploded across Japan in 2025, transforming from niche wellness concepts into mainstream business opportunities that create massive revenue streams worth $2 billion annually. Mountain regions, coastal areas, and rural prefectures host structured programs that physically separate participants from their devices. These retreats range from weekend escapes to month-long intensive programs designed to break smartphone dependency and social media overwhelm that affects millions of Japanese workers. Services include mandatory device surrender upon arrival, guided meditation sessions, traditional tea ceremonies, hiking excursions, and workshops teaching analog skills like pottery and calligraphy. Participants engage in face-to-face conversations, read physical books, and practice mindfulness techniques without digital interruptions that normally dominate their daily routines. Young professionals experiencing burnout comprise the largest demographic seeking digital detox, followed by parents wanting to model healthy technology habits for their children. Many participants report chronic anxiety from constant notifications and social media comparison that disrupts sleep and concentration. Health benefits include improved sleep quality, reduced anxiety levels, enhanced focus, and stronger interpersonal relationships. Participants frequently describe feeling mentally clearer and emotionally balanced after completing programs that teach sustainable technology boundaries. This growing industry reflects broader recognition that excessive connectivity requires professional intervention, creating demand for services that help people establish healthier relationships with digital devices. But while private businesses address technology overload, government agencies are embracing artificial intelligence to solve entirely different problems. AI assistants transform government. Government offices now feature multilingual AI assistants that handle citizen inquiries in 80% of locations nationwide. Walk into any city hall, immigration office, or tax bureau today, and you'll encounter digital systems that communicate in multiple languages, eliminating communication barriers that once made government services inaccessible to foreign residents. These AI assistants operate across municipal offices, prefectural buildings, and national agency locations. The systems handle everything from residence registration to tax inquiries, providing instant responses without human intervention. Touchscreen interfaces and voice recognition technology allow users to interact naturally with government services that previously required lengthy explanations and translation assistance. Languages supported include English, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Portuguese, covering the 5 largest foreign resident populations in Japan. Services range from basic form completion assistance to complex immigration procedure guidance. The AI systems access government databases directly, providing accurate information about requirements, deadlines, and necessary documentation. Processing times decreased from hours to minutes for routine inquiries. Citizens report 85% satisfaction improvements when using AI-assisted services compared to traditional counter interactions. Foreign residents who previously avoided government offices due to language barriers now complete necessary procedures independently. These technological improvements represent comprehensive modernization of public services, but other workplace reforms target fundamental changes in how Japanese employees spend their time. Mandatory vacation laws take effect. Japanese companies now face legal requirements to ensure employees actually take their vacation days. The 2025 mandatory vacation laws require employers to verify that workers use at least 70% of their annual paid leave, with government inspectors conducting random audits to ensure compliance. This represents the most aggressive intervention in workplace vacation policies Japan has ever implemented. Companies must actively encourage vacation usage and document when employees refuse time off. Human resources departments track vacation consumption rates and report annually to labor authorities. Penalties for non-compliance include fines reaching 500,000 yen per violation, plus mandatory workplace culture training programs. Repeat offenders face business license suspensions and public disclosure of their violation records. This forces structural changes in how companies schedule projects and manage workloads. Managers must plan around mandatory employee absences, requiring better resource allocation and realistic deadline setting. Traditional expectations of unlimited availability crumble under legal requirements that prioritize worker well-being over productivity demands. Employee satisfaction surveys show 67% improvement in work-life balance scores since implementation. Health benefits include reduced stress-related medical visits and improved sleep quality among workers who actually take time off. These workplace reforms reflect broader shifts in Japanese society, where legal protections now extend into areas once considered purely private business decisions. Cryptocurrency goes mainstream. Financial technology now extends beyond traditional banking into digital currencies that reshape daily commerce. Walk into major retailers across Japan today, and you'll find QR codes for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies displayed alongside traditional payment options. This 25% acceptance rate at major retailers represents the highest cryptocurrency adoption any developed nation has achieved. Bitcoin leads cryptocurrency acceptance, followed by Ethereum and Ripple, which appeal to Japanese consumers familiar with digital transactions. Local cryptocurrency exchanges like Bitflyer and Coincheck partner directly with retailers to enable seamless payment processing. These platforms convert cryptocurrency instantly to yen, eliminating price volatility concerns for merchants. Payment systems utilize sophisticated security measures including multi-signature wallets, real-time fraud detection, and blockchain verification that prevents double spending. Retailers implement point-of-sale terminals that generate unique QR codes for each transaction, ensuring secure cryptocurrency transfers without exposing customer wallet information. Consumer adoption reaches 18% among Japanese adults under 40, with usage concentrated in electronics purchases and online shopping. Monthly cryptocurrency transactions average 45,000 yen per user, indicating substantial spending through digital currencies rather than occasional small purchases. This positions Japan as the global leader in digital currency adoption, surpassing regulations in other major economies. Government support through clear cryptocurrency taxation rules and business-friendly policies enables widespread merchant acceptance. These technological advances complement broader social initiatives that address fundamental human needs through innovative service delivery. Mental health support goes 24/7. Crisis support systems now operate continuously to address Japan's growing mental health needs. Japan launched comprehensive 24/7 multilingual mental health hotlines in 2025, creating the most accessible crisis intervention system the country has ever implemented. These services operate around the clock, ensuring that anyone experiencing mental health emergencies can receive immediate assistance regardless of the time or day. The hotlines handle over 50,000 calls monthly, with usage increasing 180% since their launch. Crisis intervention specialists provide immediate emotional support, suicide prevention counseling, and emergency psychiatric assessments. Trained professionals offer guidance for anxiety attacks, depression episodes, and psychological crises that require urgent attention without waiting for business hours or appointments. Services include crisis intervention, emotional support, and direct referrals to mental health professionals and specialized treatment facilities. The hotlines support Japanese, English, Chinese, Korean, and Portuguese, covering the 5 most common languages spoken by residents. Professional interpreters ensure accurate communication during crisis situations when precise understanding becomes critical for safety. Mental health outcomes improved significantly through early intervention capabilities that prevent crises from escalating. Help-seeking behavior increased as language barriers disappeared and stigma reduced through anonymous access that protects caller privacy. The government allocated 8.5 billion yen annually for staffing trained counselors, therapists, and multilingual interpreters who operate these services continuously. This investment reflects broader systematic changes affecting every aspect of daily life across the country. These transformations reveal a nation that rebuilt itself completely while maintaining its cultural identity. From KFC Christmas orders processed through smartphone apps to AI government assistants communicating in 5 languages, Japan demonstrates how traditional societies can embrace radical change without losing their essence. The speed of this transformation exceeds what most observers thought possible. Remote work adoption jumped from 13% to 35% in just 3 years. Foreign residents gained municipal voting rights. Cryptocurrency acceptance reached 25% of major retailers. Mental health services expanded to 24/7 multilingual support. Each change represents deliberate policy decisions that prioritized practical solutions over traditional resistance to change. Japan's evolution offers a blueprint for other developed nations confronting similar demographic pressures, technological disruption, and cultural adaptation challenges. The country proved that comprehensive modernization can happen rapidly when governments, businesses, and citizens align around shared goals for the future.